Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, dudes and dudettes. Dude Sports Sessions is back in session, and we have ourselves a real awesome one here out of a small school in southeastern Ohio with a very awesome, rich history with one of the coolest stories associated with it. Some people in administration at this school might not really enjoy the full length of the story, but the overall story in general is a good one, and it's one of the most untold stories, but it still has carried on a strong basketball tradition up to this point. And with the guy leading the way in his second year, University of Rio Grande Red Storm coach Ryan Arrowood. How are we doing, Coach? How are we doing?
It's a pleasure to join you. I love what you do for basketball, small college basketball in general. It's what you do and the platform you people like you give us. We need that. It's great for us. It's great for our fans. It's great for our alumni. So I'm just really fortunate to be on with you.
Yeah, even if the SEC called, I say no thanks. I'm good.
Who
needs them? I'm here for I'm like Robin Hood, man. I'm just here to just give back to the small guys.
There you go.
So how are we doing, man? I know rough one last night with West Virginia Tech, but still overall with a younger team, 3-4, but most importantly, 2-1 in the River States Conference. So that's a really tough conference to be in, and 2-1 so far, off to a good start in conference play.
Yeah, got a good win over Point Park at home on a buzzer beater in a game that we really played well for about 35 minutes and then kind of slipped up there at the end. But we're very, very young because of injuries and some early departures. We're a little bit thinner than what we wanted to be, but it is what it is. We're probably the youngest team in the league for the second straight year, unfortunately. But we wanted to build this culture with kids that wanted to be here, and we wanted to build them with younger kids and develop them. So we are going to take some of our lumps. We played a really tough schedule to this point, so our guys are a little bit battle tested. So at the end of the day, we're not a 3, 4, 5 bid league. We need to be playing our best basketball come February. So that's just kind of the journey we're on. Is just let's get better every day and let's see where we're at come February, late February. Hopefully we got a chance to play for a national tournament bid.
And well, when you start over a program from scratch, and last year's a little screwy, so I guess you could say it's technically your second year, but let's face it, it's your first year of normal basketball down at Rio Grande. You have two ways to rebuild a program under your way: new coach, new players, new way, new vision, or they wouldn't, go with the new vision. So you have to start from scratch. You have two ways of doing it: building it up from the young team and getting a lot of experience, which is a longer play, but you're going to have a tighter, more chemistry laden group if you do it right. Or you can go into the ever so popular now transfer portal and bring in some dudes that obviously that didn't like where they were at. So you kind of run the risk of what am I getting, where you're getting these kids right out of high school. So I guess why did you choose to go the way of let's build it from scratch, young guys, and in a couple of years, we're going to have a bunch of 3-year starters that have a lot of minutes under their belt at this level?
Necessity, really. I mean, we wanted to build culture first. And everybody says culture, and everybody has one, but just how important is it to you? So we're going to recruit the person, not necessarily just the player. So we wanted to build that from ground up, and we wanted to develop. It's what we did at Tays Valley Christian. And, the success we had there against more talented teams that kind of had guys who would transfer in for a year or two who may have been, McDonald's All-Americans or whatever. We were able to have success because we had some older, more experienced guys that had scars, that had some battle tests, and understood what Tays Valley Christian basketball meant on and off the floor. We want to do the same thing at Rio Grande, and we think we're not going to not recruit the transfer portal, but we want to build this culture first. So unless we know what we're getting through that transfer portal, we want to build it from the ground up and get a high school kid and develop that kid. So we know the person we're getting and we're developing them. And if you can get them 3-4 years, the teams we're struggling with right now, Shawnee State, old, average starter is 22 or 23 years old.
I'm more in the nation, by the way.
Yeah. Rochester, 4 fifth-year seniors. They're top 7. I've been there 3 straight years, getting ready to probably go to their 3rd straight national tournament. West Virginia Tech, they've got 3 fifth-year seniors and a team that's been together for 3 straight years, the oldest team in our league. So Cal Mangus, who was the player of the year last year, who was probably one of the top 2 or 3 small college basketball players in the last decade, 4-year player at Indiana Wesleyan. So I think those are the players that you can really develop. Now, Mickey Tadich was a transfer for us. He played 1 year of D2, so we got him to start. We think he's got a chance to be a really talented player. We're not going to not recruit the transfer portal, but we're going to build this with kids who want to be at Rio Grande and want to build what we want to build, and are bought into that vision. So that's where we started. We've taken some lumps. We had a good year last year. We've taken some lumps here early, but we're going to be okay. And, we want to make it back to the national tournament this year. And we think in the next 2-3 years, we can make a real big run at this thing.
Coach, what's your vision? What's your guy? You have a vision. You're recruiting. You're on the recruiting trails. There's going to be a kid out here maybe watching this, and they want to appeal to you. What do they got to bring?
You've got to be a competitor. Point blank. If you don't need what Twitter says a college basketball player is, you've got to be a college basketball player. Meaning you need to actually value education for small college basketball. Like if your degree means nothing to you, then you shouldn't come play small college basketball. You need to compete. You need to be willing to sacrifice. You need to be able to get coached hard. You need to understand that if you're going to be a small college basketball player, you've got to be different than the typical student athlete. And if that's what you want, hey, buddy, come to Rio, because that's what we're about. When we don't have a city. The majority of the people who live on our campus are athletes. Now, we have a lot of commuters, but you have a community that loves athletics, and you have a community that loves small college basketball. And we have a legacy like no other in small college basketball. There is no other program that had the greatest small college basketball player of all time and the greatest story of small college basketball of all time.
I see what you did there.
Listen, a lot of these kids wanted to say they want to be pros, right? Okay, well, come to the small college basketball program that had a player who took his team and sold out Madison Square Garden. Come to the place that had a player who could have signed an NBA contract, but he made more money working had a pro contract as soon as he was done, was the leading scorer of all time in college basketball. If that's what you want, and you got these big goals, well, then come do it at Rio Grande. The Small College Basketball Award is named the Bevo Francis Award. How cool would it be for someone to win that award at the University of Rio Grande? So, segue.
You just know him up to something. He knew off camera, ladies and gentlemen. Or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple right now on the YouTube, there's a version. We're about the video here. He knows I have a little something for this. I think this is the first ever prop to make it on Dude Sports Sessions here. So, without further ado, I'd like to present to you, out of Hammondsville, Ohio, alumni of Wellsville High School, coming in at 6'9", dropping 116 points against the Ashland Junior College team, which the NCAA struck down, making it an official Bevo Francis rule that all records are against a 4-year team. So then the next year he did it against the Hillsdale, whatever they were, the losers that day, with a total of 113 points. His name was nicknamed Bevo after a Pepsi Cola product during the Prohibition days. I've owned all his books and read all of them multiple times. Clarence Bevo Francis, number 32 in your programs, and yes, he signed it, bad boy.
He signed it.
I think this was the Water Boys jersey.
It's fine.
It's a medium for sure, but it's a little slimming. Shows off the Busch Light bod there.
It fit Bevo perfectly, probably. There you go.
I think it's a little short. I'm 6'3", he was 6'9", but hey, man.
I love it.
The rest, you get to look at the beautiful Rio.
There's nothing better than that.
You should have saved it to the end. Now, where do we go from here?
Only up.
That's the optimism I like out of you, Coach. Go to Rio. Go to Rio. Listen, never settle.
I tell people all the time, and it goes with you everywhere it is. It's like being from West Virginia. Wherever you go, you're going to meet someone from West Virginia, right? Being from Rio, you're going to go somewhere where somebody's going to know about Rio. Another thing about Bevo, probably the most humble superstar to ever play. We could do a whole podcast on Bevo about how he saved college basketball in the 50s when it was in a scandal situation.
Yes,
and you got this small, I mean, but so much about Bevo Francis, sold out Madison Square Garden. He is what every small college basketball player with a chip on their shoulder dreams of being. He just did it. And Disney owns the rights to that movie. It will be made at some point. I cannot wait.
Is that? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Newt sold the rights to Disney.
I got his book here somewhere.
They've held off on making it, but it will be made. His wife and some of his family were at the Bevo Francis tournament this last couple weekends ago.
Francine, right?
And they're just amazing people. And if people didn't get to know Bevo, he was maybe the most, I said humble superstar, but all he wanted to do was praise his team. And the bond, I was blessed as a player that I got to see most of those guys before they passed, and how they treated each other and the respect they had for one another, and how they stayed in touch throughout the rest of their lives. It's a really, really special story. And that's what we try to get our guys to understand. Like, you're playing at a small college basketball program unlike any other. We have the best small college basketball player to ever live. So we want to keep that story going.
It's not very many places you walk into the lobby of an arena and there is a case up with an amazing story of like the night that he dropped 113 against Hillsdale, and it's quite the experience. And I have to give a shout out to our buddy Jeff Williamson out at Garden City High School from his old days at Rio. He knew I was a fan before he even got there, and when he got that job, he's probably even afraid to tell me, because I was like, dude, I need to be So no, Jeff hooked it up with this.
I've got the bobblehead somewhere.
I do somewhere. As a matter of fact, I gotta find it. That's funny. Yeah, I even have the Newt Oliver autographed book, his biography he did. What a story. Newt Oliver knew what Bevo was right out of high school, knew that he was the guy, like identified him when he was 17 years old. He's like, I could do something really crazy with this guy, and rode that horse all the way to the pros, all the way to the pros.
There's so many funny stories about that. They said he was a part basketball coach, part Don King. He was the greatest promoter of a basketball coach ever. And, he coached Bevo in high school, and then he brought him to college with him. And Bevo and his wife lived in the same apartment as Newt and his wife at the time too. So all kinds of fun, cool stories. You don't have to do that when you players don't have to live with me. They don't. They don't.
Is it an option? Is it an option?
No. They don't check out of that anyway. So,
So, Coach, hey, honestly, in all seriousness, the Bevo Francis story, as cool as it is, how cool of a pitch is that as a recruiter? You heard the pitch as a player, and then you lived it, you got the vibe for it. It's a unique pitch that only you get to make. Does that help you? Do you like it? Do you use it?
Yeah. But some kids today, they want to come somewhere because they want to leave their legacy. I'm like, hey, time out. Just so you know, no matter what you do, you can never be the best player here. You're never going to be the leading scorer in our program.
I hope we're going to get rings if you are.
Yeah. So, but any player that thinks they have the opportunity to be the best player in small college basketball, well, you could win that award at the school of the player it's named after. Like, there's only one program in the country that gets to make that pitch. So, we use Bevo with every recruit we have. They're doing another documentary, small college basketball is doing it. So, we got to be part of that this summer. And we're just really excited about it. And we just want to keep that legacy and that tradition going, because it's just one of those stories that if it stops being told, people won't know that it happened. So.
Yeah, it's absolutely a real cool story. So, Coach, let's talk a little bit about you here. You played at Rio. You obviously fell in love with the place, or you wouldn't be the head coach there now. Tell us, everyone, about your story. I know you're coming from that. You're down by the river on the West Virginia side, down there in Mason County. You got to say what county you're from in West Virginia, not what town, because no one knows what the hell the town is. You're from Mason County, West Virginia. Let's talk a little bit about the ride there. How do we end up where you're at?
I won't take too long, but everywhere I've been, I've just been blessed. Extremely small town. Graduating class was 39, and that was at the time the 5th largest graduating class in our school's history at Hannon High School. We were the Hannon we were the West Virginia Hoosiers, basically. We had 7 players. Our school has never been to the state tournament in any sport, and still, since our senior year, has still never been. So my high school coach, Wayne Richardson, came in our senior year and made me fall in love. I'd always loved the game, but made me fall in love with it from a team aspect like I'd never felt before. I'd always loved the game for myself and as a competitor, and I've always been competitive, but how he brought us together as a team changed my life. Made me know I wanted to be a basketball coach. Was recruited a lot more for football, but loved basketball, and we had so much success. Went to the state Final Four. Got to play my last high school basketball game in front of 9,000 people at the Civic Center. Grew up going to the state tournament every year, so that was really cool. And Rio was really close to home. They had just came off a really good national tournament run. I went to a visit there. They had told me, like, hey, we think you can be a JV player first year that has a chance to move up. Got to do a lot of stuff with the varsity in my first year, but I came in as a JV player, kind of did both. And then I was able to get moved up and finish my career. Role player, I was limited athleticism, but it is what it is. I love the game.
Crafty. You look like you're crafty.
Yeah, I was a lot bigger now. I mean, in high school, I said I was an offensive man. I was a big boy now. But I can still move the feet a little bit. So, but good charge taker, and then, but loved the game, and I loved Rio. I met, so many great people there. I was able to finish my degree there. Then I got into coaching. I went back to Hannon and was the head coach there for 2 years. And to be quite honest, that's what I thought I wanted to do. Is I wanted to go back to Hannon High School, and I wanted to start a tradition there. And I wanted to teach there, and I wanted to be the basketball coach. And if that was what it was, that was what it was. About a year into that, I realized, I kind of like to see this coaching thing a little bit further. So Ken French, who was the assistant when I played there, who was the head coach, took a chance on me and hired me as an assistant. I was very fortunate to be his assistant for 2 years, and learned a lot. And I got to be the head JV coach. So, right after playing, I got to be the varsity coach at the high school level at 23. Then I got to be the head JV coach, and, got to compete against Fletcher Arrett, who I thought, was phenomenal. That's still one of my biggest wins in my life, was our JV team beat Fork Union and Fletcher Arrett. I'm gonna hang on that one till I die, because the respect I have for that man.
Right.
But I made so many great connections, and was really able to develop a culture with those JV kids, and they just wanted to play hard while also getting to be, all of the assistant work you get from the varsity level, because that's what GAs did, at a school like Rio. You're both. You're a top assistant and you coach the JV team. So it was basketball 18 hours a day, and it was great. Was able to get my master's at Rio, and then I went to Mountain State in West Virginia, and we were an NAIA power.
RIP.
Final Four. Yeah. Listen, they came in late July and was like, hey, athletic department, sorry. It's over.
Hey, anybody ever says they don't have a bad day or they've had a bad day, listen to that story.
Listen, we were in camp, and Coach Bone was like, hey guys, we need to meet. So I just turned down a job at Lee University because I was so excited. I really thought we were going to win a national championship. I loved our group. I was learning from Coach Bowen.
Hey, you guys had some dudes down there them last few years.
Oh my gosh. I mean, like, we had 2 guys go Division I. When we had to dismantle, we had 2 guys go Division I. We had 3 guys who were either Division II or NAI first team All-American the next one. Like, we were loaded. So I love that team. But it dismantled, wasn't sure what I was going to do. Right. I was like, okay, is this where my coaching journey ends?
It's a beautiful thing.
But I got to know Rob Fulford because I was the JV coach at Rio Grande, and our teams had some really, really good battles, and this was before he was getting all the McDonald's All-Americans. They maybe have one, but, we almost knocked them off. A really close, tight game when he had Gorgie Jang and some of those guys. So me and him developed a really good friendship. And so then he kind of calls me and says, hey, I've got a position open. We've got a pretty good team. I don't know if you've heard of this kid named Andrew Wiggins, but he's a pretty special player. If you want the job, I need to know in 24 hours or I'm going to give it to somebody else. Doesn't pay much, but so I was like, here we go. And so I was an assistant for Huntington Prep for 3 years, and that was fantastic. And, Rob and Arkell both let me take more responsibility every single year. And that was really big for me. And, I got to really see, without being a Division I assistant, you really got to see all the nooks. And it's amazing how much a coach will talk to you and open up when you're talking to him about Miles Bridges and Thomas Bryant and Andrew Wiggins, and the list can just continue to go on.
Yeah.
So that was such a great experience for me. And then God put Tays Valley Christian on my doorstep. And, my wife and I, at the time, we were getting engaged. Fun story. This is a cool fact.
Story time.
I don't know. I'm talking a lot. I'm sorry. I don't know how many people have got to propose to their wife. I proposed to my wife at center court, Madison Square Garden. As a basketball coach, that's pretty cool.
Did she think it was as cool?
Well, she didn't know what I was doing at first. She told me to get up. We had our team at Huntington Prep, and we finished final. We lost in the final four of the national tournament to Montverde and Ben Simmons and D'Angelo Russell and those guys. So
overrated. That was a tough. I mean, God, wasn't even a good. I can't believe you guys lost to such a bum team.
Yeah, very very difficult loss there. But we were able to get on the court, take a team picture. We asked my wife if she'd take the picture for us, and she was like, "Yeah." She's mad because she's a basketball junkie too. We're at center court, Madison Square Garden. You're at the epicenter of basketball, and she doesn't get to be in the picture, so she's salty. And I turn around, I was like, "Hey, Rudy," and I'm down on one knee. She's like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Hey, come here a minute." She's like, "Get up, we're going to miss the picture." And I was like, "Would you come here a minute?" And then she sees the ring, and yeah. So, but it was really cool. It was really cool. We're gonna look back at that. That's cool. We've got pictures at the center of Madison Square Garden with her with the ring, with Thomas Bryant, Miles Bridges, and those guys. So, really cool experience. And then I got to be the head coach at Tays Valley.
He's so lucky.
We're at home right now, so she decided to want to pop in there.
First wife bomb on the show. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it.
But Tays Valley changed my life. I got to build a culture from scratch, and we were able to build that program into a top 25 program. Only program in high school of a private school to ever be ranked in the USA top 25, USA Today top 25 without a top 100 player. So was really able to do a lot and build the right culture and really have a framework of who I wanted to be as a coach and what I thought a program should represent on and off the floor and the relationship you get with people. And then it was extremely difficult, but when your alma mater calls and you have a chance to be a head college basketball coach, you can't turn it down.
There's not many of those jobs. There's not many of those.
No, I'm one of very few people. I forget what the stat is now because it's changed, but there are very few college basketball coaches who are the head coach of their alma mater. It's just so rare. So, to be able to have that, I take that with me every single day. So the losses hurt a little bit more. But for us to be able to go to the first national tournament in the last 18 years and year one was pretty awesome. I can't wait to the day that we get to hang a national championship banner in that gym. So that's my journey long. I could talk a lot more about it. I got the gift of gab, but I've just been really, really blessed. God's been amazing to me, and the amount of people he's put in my path through basketball. I'm fortunate for every day I get in basketball.
And now you're on the Dude Network, man. Like you have, I don't know what's cooler, proposing at a half court at Madison Square Garden, or
if you weren't wearing a Bevo jersey, I think you'll be close. But now
you're about to take the ring off the wife's finger and re-gift that thing. You're about to put it in the transfer portal.
No, sir. I don't like the transfer portal. So
oh, it's on record. Yeah, I don't think that's an overall. I think it's good for coach that's trying to make an immediate impact out of what was a struggling program. But yeah,
it's like anything.
I think there was good I think it was a good idea, it had good intentions, and like anything else, it just got totally exploited and and taken advantage of.
It's like Twitter. It's got amazing parts to it, and it's so good, but so many people just abuse it and ruin it. So I don't blame social media. I blame
toxic
people
Twitter,
for
man.
it. Yeah, man. So
toxic transfer portal.
There it is. Let's
get you a t-shirt
hashtag.
made. Let's do like hashtag Bevo for Bevo.
I like it.
So I mean, so speaking of Bevo's got books and out and everything. You got some big books over there, man. Are they for show? Are you reading them things?
Oh, I mean,
big book guy, big brain.
Off season mainly, but big time off season. A lot like to read. Anything I can do, I think to help my craft. I need to do. I think all coaches need to be evolving. You can always learn. You can always grow. Our culture comes directly from the Bible, so it doesn't mean I'm great all the time. I struggle, but I mean, anything I do, whether it's being on vacation in Jamaica or watching a game or watching a football game or anything I do, I'm going to think about how can this make me a better coach? How can I use this to be a better coach, to be a better husband, to be a better man? So I think that's kind of how most coaches are. So you just want to keep evolving as you grow.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you got a lot of growing to do, especially with the young team that you have. So, Coach, I guess, like, what's your overall goal for this team this year? Obviously, national tournament is, but I'm talking more of like a player development aspect this year. I'm sure you're trying to teach these young men how to be men, on and off the court. But, what's your personnel goals for your team this year, and is it the same every year, or do you kind of have to see what your roster looks like to develop those goals?
Generic answer. We want to be playing our best basketball in late February, early March, with the opportunity to play at the national tournament. That's all we want. If a successful season is if we are getting better on our last day of practice, then we're doing what we're supposed to do.
And you feel you're better now than what you were a couple months ago?
We are. We're different, less talented, better. Lost a couple really key pieces. Just got a starter back who was injured. So we're getting better, but yeah, we're better. And without last night getting our tails kicked, you don't get better. So we're going to be better because of losing. If we win, then we've got to stay humble, or you're going to get humbled again. But we've got a team who wants to be good, but we've got so many new guys. They're playing harder, and they're playing better than they've ever played before in their life, and it's not enough. And they're hurting us. And we've got older guys who are playing better than they've ever played before in their life, and they've got to be better. So it's just that constant evolve of we need to come in today to get better. And if we don't, then we have to learn from that so that we come in the next day and we grow from that. So it's that way with every team. We want to be an efficient offense and defense. We want to have low turnovers. We want to make teams take a lot of contested shots. So like any small college team right now with that 3-point line going back, that's been a struggle for us. And I think you're seeing that with a lot of teams. We go 16 for 57 yesterday. Even if we had played well, which we didn't, you're just not going to win a lot of games. You're just not going to win a lot of games doing that. And I think you've seen that a lot with NAI so far this year. There's a lot of scores you're like, how'd that game happen? That 3-point line's really changed some stuff. So we're playing limited guys right now. We want to get our rotation up to 8, 9 deep. Right now, we're only 7. We can kind of play the 8th guy. So we got to get more depth. We wanted to come in this year and be more athletic, longer, and older. We are now thinner, more athletic, and younger. So we're trying to fight through all that. Our guys are practicing the right way every day. So we hope to continue to grow, and we can be playing better basketball here in the next couple weeks.
All right, Coach, Mr. Role Player, would you rather see a player draw a charge or pin one off the backboard?
charge all day, every day.
Whoa, there we go.
Yeah.
Rex,
Yeah,
what's the guy? Yeah, Rex Chapman. That's it.
Yeah, I'm a charge. Yeah, the block charge thing was the funniest thing I'd ever. I used to love those. Now, it like everything on social media has become too political. So
I still do with my 3 and 2 year old. I was like, well, I look at my wife and I'll be like, block or charge, and she doesn't know anything about sports. She's like, I don't know what that means, and I'm like, all right, never mind.
His story on the Dockich and who else was it? Greenberg podcast, when he talked about block charge, and he was like, I saw a dolphin, and like this guy's surfing, it's like the dolphin just takes him out, and he's like, well, that's a charge. Like his story, if I'm in a bad mood, I can watch that and just laugh, and I can be good. So the block charge things were hilarious.
Yeah, it is definitely gold. It's absolute gold. So I've always been a charge guy, and there's nothing that makes me more angry is when the official doesn't get into it. I need the double crow hop, like power thrust with the sending it forward.
We've got a little 5'8" guard who's the toughest kid I've ever coached in my entire life, and
5'8" guy's got to be.
Yeah, but he has a knack for drawing charges off the dribble. He doesn't set up. He beats you to the spot, and he never falls on the first contact. He makes you get him again. He took 30 on the ball on the dribble charge. He's like Wojo. Like, I mean, I grew up with the floor smack on Wojo, taking it in the chest. He's phenomenal, and man, like every time I'm leg pumping, throwing my fist, it gets me juiced up. So I'm all charge all day.
Hey, any tees yet this year, Coach? You get hit?
So this is my claim to fame. If this airs next week, it's probably going to change. Our team's struggling, so I feel bad for these refs who are repping me because I know I'm rough. I have not got a technical in my college coaching career, and I only got one my last year at Taze Valley.
So you just know when to push it. You know that cutoff.
I think you feel sorry for me. No, I mean, I like to talk. So if I can get a crew that I can communicate with, and the bright note is I had a lot of the guys that do small college basketball in our area would ref our games at Taze Valley. We'd pay them more so we could get college refs. Or if we were to go to tournament, it's the same thing. We played with the shot clock. So we knew a lot of those guys because I'd seen them before. So they knew me. They'd all whacked me before. So now they know how to handle me, and I know how to handle them. So I haven't got one yet, but I think I'm getting pretty close. So
how many Bob Evans sausage and biscuit gravy bowls have you had? The home, Rio Grande is the home of Bob Evans for everybody listening. Hence
so
the
reference. Cool thing is we actually, that's what we eat pregame. We'll order ahead and we'll have it catered. We'll do the grilled chicken, the broccoli, and some of the that's good. But it's really cool because everywhere we go, people will ask us. I love us. We're like, where are you guys from? And we'll point to the big sign of Bob Evans Farm on there because all of it have it now. We're like, right there. They're like, wait, what? And like some of them like want to take pictures with our guys, but yeah, that's where we're from, right there. So yeah, we eat Bob Evans for a lot of we had it catered for our pregame on Saturday too, the breakfast. So the guys like the breakfast a little bit more than the dinner ones, but yeah, that's
Bob's breakfast, man. There's something about breakfast at Bob's is. I mean,
it's tough to beat.
I mean, do we need to go back? We need to go back to it. Yeah. I mean, this is the biscuits. And this is the gravy right here.
Yeah. The hash browns are somewhere in between. So.
No, they're right here.
Yeah. Now, I had a lot of those when I was a student.
Man, hey, Bevo Francis. He was the original supporter of Bevo was Bob Evans. He used to eat at his little cafe down there all the time. I can't tell you. I wish I had that. I probably got it over. I bet I read that book 6 times. I'm a Bevo. Awesome. I'm a Bevo diehard. So yeah, I'm probably have to stop down next time I'm in town there and go.
Please do.
It's been a couple years. Coach, you're the absolute man. Thank you so much for coming on here and hanging out with me. Thanks for letting me be an idiot. Thanks for just being a dude, man. Just hanging out and talking some ball here with me. I know we're going to have you on later down the road. Hopefully we have you on in February when you're playing your best basketball and you guys are on the middle of a hot run, man.
That's the goal. Again, man, thank you so much for what you do for our game and small college basketball in general. Anything we can do, I appreciate it.
Hey, let's be together, grow together. Ladies and gentlemen,
there you go.
Coach Ryan Arrowhead of the Rio Red Storm. All right, man. All right.
Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate you.